Hello, my name is Chelsea Rochman, and I'm a professor in ecology at the University of Toronto. My co-presenter is Kennedy Bucci. She is a PhD student in my research lab. We work hard to increase the scientific understanding regarding microplastics in the environment. We also are part of an organization we call the U of T Trash Team, working to promote literacy around waste in the community and work towards zero waste solutions. The issue we are proposing that you work on is microplastic pollution. Microplastics are defined as small plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in size. They are small, they are diverse, and they are ubiquitous. They include microfibers from textiles. They include those tiny small spherical microbeads in face wash. They also include little bits of tire dust on roads, and then just the broken down bits of plastic particles and products that end up in the aquatic ecosystem. We find these small particles in all ecosystems and in the bellies of hundreds of species across multiple food webs. Its small size and diverse nature makes it difficult to count and characterize these particles. It also makes them hard to clean up. As I mentioned before, the contamination of microplastics in the environment is ubiquitous. We find them globally across our oceans, our lakes, and our rivers, and we even find them cycling in the atmosphere. And of course, local and relevant to where we are today, we find them in the Great Lakes. The sources of microplastics into the environment are also incredibly diverse. We think that about 80 to 90% of all of the plastic in aquatic ecosystems come from land. This includes litter on the side of the road. It also includes treated wastewater effluent, agricultural runoff, and stormwater runoff. The widespread contamination does include hundreds of species, but also those that we consume as seafood. In addition, microplastics also contaminate sea salt and drinking water. This leads to concerns about the effects to humans in addition to wildlife, which has raised a lot of attention towards this issue, strengthening our case to develop tools to better measure and mitigate it. So why do we need these tools? Well, the water issue we propose is all about these tiny particles that we call microplastic. First, they are hard to count and characterize. Researchers struggle with efficient methods for extracting them from samples such as sediment or drinking water or fish tissue, and then quantifying them manually under a microscope for hours and characterizing them to shape, color, and then polymer type, which is often done by some sort of spectroscopy or other chemical technique. The field needs innovative technologies to help with these processes. So this includes how you sample them from the environment, how you extract them from your samples, and how you quantify them and characterize them in the lab. Examples that we could provide here would include magnetizing plastics to help extract them for samples, or some sort of a machine learning tool aimed at counting and characterizing microplastics from a picture. Techniques could be aimed at citizen science or for researchers in a lab. Second, microplastics are incredibly hard to divert and clean up from the environment. We are looking for new innovative ways to prevent contamination at the source or along the pathway to the lake, or some sort of cleanup of the microplastics that are already there. Some of the examples of solutions that are already proposed in the world are here on a slide to help feed you with some ideas. First, you see a filter, an aftermarket filter for a washing machine, aimed at trapping the microfibers from the washing machine effluent and diverting them from the environment. You also see technologies for storm drains. The one on the top is a litter trap. It sits in a storm drain and filters the plastic or the trash before it goes out into a river. The second one that you see there is a rain garden, which are sometimes found on the side of the road, and as the water goes in, the rain garden filters the microplastic and other contaminants out. In addition, you see something called a sea bin. These are trash capture devices that are the final line of entry before they either enter the lake from a river mouth or along the dock wall. Here in this case, this is a floating trash can that sucks up the plastic from the water. Other examples would be Mr. Trash Wheel in Baltimore. The innovation of better ways to count, characterize, and mitigate these plastics will be useful to multiple stakeholders, including scientists, government, and environmental managers. So just as a takeaway, microplastics are everywhere. We find them in the air, the sediments, the water, including in the drinking water that we drink and the food that we eat. Second, they come from multiple different sources, so there's many different locations that we can tackle to prevent them from getting into the water. Third, in order to mitigate them, we need to understand these sources and pathways regionally, including by monitoring citizen science and academia, which means we also need innovative solutions to be able to quantify them and extract them from samples. And then finally, we need innovative solutions to prevent the microplastic pollution at the source or via cleanup, noting that the difficulty is that they're small and they're diverse. So we are looking for designs that help quantify and characterize microplastics or prevent them from becoming pollution. Here you'll find some resources about some of our own work in addition to the work of others, which hopefully provide some more background to you about the problem. We want to thank you for listening and of course to the supporters of these projects, and we look forward to hearing your ideas and helping you brainstorm and answering some of your questions. Thank you.